17-year-old Juliana Kopka sat by the airplane window, staring at the endless green of the Amazon rainforest far below. It was Christmas Eve, December 24, 1971, and she was flying from Lima to Pucallpa to visit her father at the Jungle Research Station where her parents worked. Juliana had grown up surrounded by nature. The dense forest had always been part of her life. Yet even with her experience, she could not imagine the danger that awaited her that day. Juliana's life was deeply connected to the Amazon. Her mother, Maria, was an ornithologist, and her father, Hans, was a zoologist. From a young age, Juliana learned how to observe the forest carefully, how to respect its dangers, and how to survive if something went wrong. She had seen snakes, poisonous plants, and jaguars, but she also knew the forest's beauty, with its bright birds, colorful flowers, and the soft sounds of hidden waterfalls. That morning, she had packed a small bag with sweets, some notebooks, and a few personal items. She and her mother boarded the small plane, excited to reach her father. The flight started smoothly, with the sun shining through the windows, and Juliana watched the clouds slowly shift above the endless green canopy. But as the plane flew further east, the sky darkened. Storm clouds gathered, and the air became turbulent. Juliana's mother held her hand. "It's just a little storm," she said, trying to sound calm. But Juliana felt a cold shiver run through her. She knew that thunderstorms in the Amazon were powerful, sometimes violent, and always unpredictable. Suddenly, the plane was hit by lightning. There was a blinding flash and a loud explosion. The aircraft shuddered violently. Seats tore from their fixtures, luggage flew through the cabin, and Juliane felt herself being lifted and thrown into the air. For a moment, everything was chaos, noise, smoke, and flashing lights. Then she lost consciousness. When she awoke, the world was strangely quiet. She was lying on a strange green carpet of leaves and vines. Her head throbbed, her body ached, and a sharp pain ran through her shoulder and leg. She tried to move, but found her glasses were gone, her shoes missing, and her bag ripped apart. She realized with horror that she was alone. She was the only survivor of the crash. The forest around her was dense and unfamiliar. Trees towered high above, and thick vines made movement difficult. Strange noises echoed in the distance, calls of unknown birds, rustling of animals, and the whisper of the wind through the leaves. For a moment, Juliane felt panic rise inside her. How could she survive here, in the middle of one of the largest, most dangerous rainforests in the world, completely alone? Her first thought was simple. She needed water and shelter. Her father had always said, "If you are lost in the jungle, follow the water. It will lead you to people." Summoning every bit of courage she had, Juliane began to crawl toward the sound of a stream she could hear nearby. Each movement was painful, her body weak from shock and injuries. The first day was almost impossible. Juliane's shoulder was broken, her leg scraped and bleeding, and her head spinning from the concussion. She had no food except for a few sweets she had saved from the plane. She ate only tiny amounts, trying to save her energy. The forest was alive and relentless. Mosquitoes swarmed, biting her skin. Flies found her open cuts, laying eggs that quickly hatched into small maggots. The pain and disgust were intense, but Juliane remembered her father's lessons. He had once treated wounds on animals using gasoline to clean infections. She cautiously used a small container she found in the forest to rinse her wounds. The pain was unbearable, but it forced the maggots out and prevented infection from spreading. Juliane moved slowly, carefully observing the forest around her. She avoided large animals and focused on the path of the water. She remembered another lesson from her parents. Small creatures can be dangerous too. Watch the insects and snakes, but don't let fear stop you. Using her knowledge, she avoided the venomous snakes and large spiders that crossed her path. Nights were the hardest. Alone, in the dark, with strange sounds echoing from all directions, Juliane felt the terror of isolation. She thought of her mother and cried silently, but she also reminded herself she had to survive. Each morning, she followed the stream, hoping it would lead her to people. And each day, she grew slightly stronger, fueled by determination and hope. On the fifth day, she found parts of the plane that had fallen around the forest. Seeing the wreckage was horrifying, and she realized the magnitude of what had happened. Rows of seats and broken luggage lay half buried in mud, reminding her that survival was rare and precious. Despite the fear and sadness, Juliane pressed on, understanding that despair could be as dangerous as the jungle itself. By the seventh day, Juliane was exhausted, but she began to notice small signs of hope. Birds flew overhead as if leading her, and the stream she had been following widened into a small river. Her food supply was almost gone, but she remained vigilant, carefully rationing what little she had left. On the 10th day, she saw a small hut on the riverbank. It looked abandoned, but she felt a surge of hope. Dragging herself with all her remaining strength, she reached the hut and rested inside. The next morning, she heard voices. Loggers had arrived nearby. They were astonished to find her alive, dirty and weak, but still breathing. Juliane had survived 11 days alone in the Amazon rainforest, following only the stream, using her wits, and trusting the knowledge her parents had given her. The loggers carried Juliane back to civilization. She received medical treatment for her injuries and infections and was finally reunited with her father. Although she had survived physically, the emotional scars and the loss of her mother remained. Juliane's life continued after the crash, but the forest never left her heart. She pursued biology, following in her parents' footsteps, and returned to work at the Panguana station in Peru. There, she shared her knowledge and experience with others, teaching the value of courage, observation, and respect for nature. Her story became famous not just because of luck, but because of her courage, determination, and knowledge. Survival was not a miracle alone. It was the result of her inner strength, preparation, and the lessons she had learned throughout her life. Juliane Kopke's experience is a reminder that even when life seems to collapse around us, the human spirit, combined with wisdom and resilience, can guide us back to safety. Because sometimes surviving is not about falling from the sky. It is about finding the courage to stand again.